What's going on, guys? What's cracking? Today is brake line day. This is a day of filming that a lot of people have been asking about. So you can see here, I've started this brake line. I'm gonna explain how I do this, the lines I use, the part numbers, and everything I do. So I'm hoping this helps out a lot of other Mark IV owners or ST300 owners, because the bends are really up to you, how you wanna make them. I mean, this is just how I wanna do it. I'm going to go in a little in depth and explain how I do it and how this all gets done. They try and make it as easy as possible. Bending stainless steel brake lines is just not easy. So right off the bat, if it's something you don't want to do in general, I suggest you stay away from stainless and go to something a little bit either aluminized steel or something like that. It's a little bit easier, a lot easier to bend. You can bend it by hand. This you can't. You physically have to use a tool for every single bend, and this does pinch really easily. So if you do try to bend it, it will pinch without the tool. So you guys, this is a lot harder, so I'm gonna try and explain as best I can and show you the part numbers. All right, so this piece is pretty much done. At this point, that's pretty much how it's going to be. Now you see the black marks, so that's where I'd put marker. I'll clean that off and polish it up because it is stainless steel. But that's where it's going to be. So next time we're gonna do is from there in here and down to the actual caliper itself. Now you're probably wondering, well, how do I do this? So I'm gonna show you how I actually start. So what you're gonna start with is a roll of stainless steel line like this. This comes in 25 feet lengths and it comes rolled like this. What you're gonna wanna do is by hand slowly move it out and roll it out. What I mean is like this. So you have this long piece of line here, right? And you're gonna take your hand and just gently massage it straight. You just keep bending it and bending it with your hand and massage it straight as best you can. It is time taking or time, whatever the word I'm looking for, and it's kind of a pain in the ass. Next, what you're gonna do is take one of these cutters. Next, you're gonna take one of these cutters and cut the line. I'm always pretty generous. I'd rather not have to make multiple lines, so I always give way more than I should, but so you can see here how much line I have just to make that short one. I cut a line, cut a piece, because you can't work with this giant roll. Like, you can't be trying to maneuver things around. You're gonna have to cut pieces off. If you're that person that's trying to save every piece of material, well, this isn't for you then. Or you're way smarter than me, which probably isn't saying a lot because most people are. So I like to cut this off, give myself a little bit of working space. You can get these cutters. I recommend getting 2 or 3 because none of these, I haven't found a cutter. If you do know of one, please let me know. I haven't found a cutter that's designed to cut stainless steel. It chews up the little blade that's in there. So let me show you how this works. So you have this, you tighten it down, you get this little knob on here, and you just spin it, right? Spin it, make a couple passes, turn it again. Spin it, oh my God. Now, of course, because the line's getting so straight and tough, it doesn't want to, but again, turn the knob, spin it, and it is a pain in the rear to do this, but it's the only way to do it. And you're probably wondering, why am I putting myself through this? Because, I don't know, I'd rather have it done now because I don't feel like doing it later, and if I'm painting the car, it's kind of like one of those, might as well go ahead and do this. I can feel it getting to the point where it's about to snap. When I mean snap, it's about to cut the line. Yeah, because I'm able to really turn it now. Yep, right there it went. See that, guys? Right there. Go through it and cut it. You can hear it bouncing around down there. So there's pretty much the piece we're stuck with. Now, it's not perfectly straight yet, and it's gonna have so many bends in it you won't be able to see that. You know, I'm not taking a piece this long and making it. It's gonna be from here, and then I'm probably gonna bend it there, then bend it there. Those waves you see, you'll never see when it's all said and done. So next what we're going to do is flare one of the sides. Now before I flare this, now this is subject to some debate here. I like to take something and bevel these edges some. There's a sharp edge on here, kind of a tit on it. I know it's not politically correct, but that's what it is. There's a little bit of a tit on it. I like to take something and smooth that out a little bit. So what I do is just smooth that out as best I can. You know, it's not gonna be perfect, but just to get that little tit off. I don't want that on there when I flare the line because, well, just not ideal. Smooth up the edges some, and that should be good enough for now. Now, next up what you're gonna do is you're gonna wanna buy one of these tools. I learned by mistake that you can't buy anything cheap. You have to expend a little bit of money. Now, this is the cheapest real tool you can use. This is rigid. I believe it is the 370 model. Let me double check that here. It's the 377 model. I stand correct. This is the 377 model. This does 37-degree AN fittings only. That is it. That's all it does. It is designed to do stainless steel also, and it's been doing a great job. From the get-go, it's been doing a great job. The only thing I will say, I wish it had a mount, so I could actually, my old one, you could actually mount in the vise, so it was stationary. I got to kind of like hold it, maneuver it. It's the only thing I will complain. Everything else, Muy guapo. Love it to death. And they have the really nice Matco ones, which are hydraulic, and those are like, I don't know, $350, $400. This was like $120 ship versus $350, $400, which if I was a mechanic, buy the Matco. Don't dick with this. But if you're doing this 1 or 2 times, buy this. It does it great. It's not going to fail and you're not going to have problems, but it's just not the most ideal situation. All right, so next up what you're going to do is, usually what you're going to want to do with this is you're going to want to take your 2 fittings here. I'm going to grab them here and show you that. So I'm going to show you all the part numbers and stuff to all this too when I'm done. So probably doing this little ass backwards, you're probably going to hate me, but tough shit. It's my video, so I get to do what I want. You're going to need these 2 little fittings here. One is the actual sleeve that goes over it. This actually helps press against it and helps keep the flare in place. And this goes over it. This is your actual AN nut. It's a -3 little nut, and it goes over it. Pretty neat little trick, little setup, and I like it. Usually you would have to slip this on ahead of time. Because you want to put it on, because if you don't do that, and you already have the other end flared, like if you had this end flared already, you wouldn't be able to get this on. Once these ends are flared, that's it, and then you throw this line away. Ask me how I know. I've done that a million times and thrown a ton of line away. But because it's not, I don't have to dick with that. So all we got to do now is actually flare the line itself. So what we're going to do here is, this is a 3/16 line. That's what kind of line you're going to use. And we're going to line this up as best I can. Wish I had a film guy to help me out here. Where's Cody Reed at? Where's Cody Reed at when you need him? I miss my homie. He moved to Florida and left me behind. He moved down towards, I wouldn't say towards Bradenton, not in Bradenton, but close to it, I guess. I miss my homie. Now, with this tool, it has little like dash marks on it, and it has like little lines up top, or these little circles, so it actually lines up the pin, so it makes it perfect. But the lines tell you exactly where you need to be. So you move over, get to that line, and you crank this down first, spin that, and then crank, and you can feel it get real tight real quick. Crank. All right. Now you'll be able to sneak in there. It's going to be hard to see inside here, but you need to look inside here and put your little tool. It'll spin. And see, mine's not going in. It's being a little bitch. There we go. Just got in. Now what you're going to do is crank and go in and out. I would recommend using a dab of oil on the end just to keep it so it spins freely, but you're going to just crank. And now there's no set turning amount. You're going to back in and out too. Sorry for all the noises, but back off. Back off, and then one more time. There we go. Now we should be able to back off, and that should be flared enough. Should be. Or it might be too flared. The problem with stainless steel is it tends to crack too. That's another issue you guys will run into. It's a really, really hard material, so instead of like bending and being smooth like say aluminum or anything, it tends to just crack and break on you. Apparently I didn't do this enough. So do that. Come out here, and there's my wife, who's coming out now. That came out perfect. That came out perfect. It has a nice little flared piece to it. Who votes that we make Kathleen, my wife, start doing all this? No. I mean, come on, babe.
No.
Raven.
I'll do anything but the brakes. I don't even want to bleed the brakes. I hate the brakes.
I made my wife bleed the brakes a million times.
I've bleed the brakes in that freaking car a million times. No. I will do anything but bleed the brakes. And I will not get under that car.
That's not nice. You're supposed to be supportive.
I'm just saying. I love my car.
Excuse me.
And I want to help, but I will not get under that car. Until we get a lift. So
she'll get under a lift, so if it does fall, it'll definitely crush you. You'll look like a piano piece then. That'd be pretty interesting.
Okay, so let's use our mind. If you're underneath the car,
yep,
and you have jack stands,
yep,
and it falls on you,
which it won't, but okay.
How are you gonna move? You're not.
What do you mean?
If
you're on
a lift,
and it falls, you're gonna die. There's no, you're not running out from underneath of it.
Lift, there's more room. I'm claustrophobic. I hate stuff close to me.
You're just trying to make excuses of why you don't want to be under it.
So if it's higher up, your legs are the strongest muscle in your body, besides your heart.
Okay, nurse, whatever.
And then you can move fast enough away. Unlike Ryan.
Yeah, just move your fat ass. Go, get your fat ass out the door. Let's go. Go walk the dog. Look at the thing. Look at the thing. Boop. Big butt. Bubble butt. Bubble, bubble, bubble butt. Sorry about the sidetrack there, guys. So now what you're going to do is put that sleeve on that I showed you there. So you want to put this sleeve on first. It's going to go on down here. It's so hard to do this by yourself. So you put that on first. Boop. Now that sleeve See, now that sleeve presses up against that flare to reinforce it. Then the AN fitting then slides over top of this to help bolt it down. But this is what keeps it all together as one piece. Pretty tricky little setup, and it works really well. I've had it on my Supra now for 5 years, and I haven't had any issues. So hopefully this works out. Okay guys, to do a little update for you here, I am done with the bottom line here. So you've got that top line that runs from the back, comes down, hits right there. And you've got a 3-way split. So the first split comes up here, runs underneath. You obviously take your wheel off, and it runs down here. So I bent it, and it sits perfectly dead center. If you can see there, it sits literally perfectly dead center. It takes a lot of time of measuring, going back and forth, guys. It's not gonna be a one-day job. Unless you literally start in the morning and then go to at night, or you focus on nothing else and no one bothers you, you can do it in a day. But this takes a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of back and forth. You're gonna throw away a lot of pieces too. So I always try to keep it cut, and I wanna keep it as close as possible. I want it back here. I want it as close to the body too. So as you can see, it's as close to the body as I can get it, which lines up with this. So it looks good to me, and I'm very happy with it. So next, I'm working on the rear brake line. So what I do for that is I put 2 AN fittings back there, one straight piece up. Again, use a 3-way splitter. I have the front line here coming down. Doesn't matter which line you use either, does not matter. It's just fluid based, it doesn't matter. And then running a line back, and I'm gonna hit the top of that. Then that line is going to circle around and hit that. That's how I've done it. That's how I did it in my other car. Seems to work fine. I've never had an issue. If you guys are worried or concerned, prime example is that car. I guess we're going on maybe 6 years now, and about 45, 50,000 miles and 170, 180 mile an hour pools. Never cracked, never leaked, never given me an issue. Knock on wood, which there's no wood here right now, but yeah, that car's never given me a problem. So if that helps you out, my personal Supra has never had a problem. I've seen guys with like the other old, if you have the old Camaros and stuff from the 60s, you see they coil them. It's a material they use, and plus those cars flex so badly, they did break. These cars are a little bit, well, not a little bit, a lot more rigid, a lot better built, so we don't have that problem. All right guys, check out that sweet, look at these sweet socks and look at these shorts. Woo, fancy as hell. Just kidding. This is what I'm doing. I'm climbing in and out constantly because you guys aren't seeing any of this. So, oh my God, getting old, God damn it, my hips. So I want to do a little bit up close here because I feel like I haven't been showing enough. So I want to show you some. So here is the brake line so far. Again, I ran it. So this one runs down, goes like this, runs to here, connects at this 3-way piece, goes down, goes to the front brakes, which you saw. Now for the rear brakes, it's very simple. I'm running this front piece down, running it to the side. I wish I would have made it go back just so it lined up perfect. It's close, but I missed the mark when I measured it. I don't feel like making another one. Hopefully no one's going to judge me for that small piece. I don't think anyone's going to notice, but see how nice and even it is. Now, obviously I gotta rotate this and all that good stuff yet and bend that line a little bit more, but now is the point where I've got to measure and cut. I got to put a black line here. That's why all these black lines are for. I'm going to curve it. And you also want to have your tool with you, which, did I leave it on the bench? Where did I put it at? Oh, I left it on the bench. God damn it. No, I didn't. There it is. Ah, Ricky Bobby, I found it. You want to measure from the front. So that's where it's actually going to bend at. If you measure from the back of this, you got another whatever, a little bit over 3/4 of an inch right here that it's going to bend with, and it's going to either be too long and you're not going to be happy. So remember, the measurement is based off the front of this, and that's where the bend's actually going, the curvature is actually going to end at. So remember that. So the front where the jaws are, that's where your bend's going to be. All right guys, crap, finally done with making the brakes. It took me long enough, I wanted to go over it. I'm like happy with 90% of it. Some of them, it's not completely perfect. No matter what, it can't be just because of how rigid the line is and just the way it has to look, unless you physically drill into the body and like hide the line. You won't be able to really see it out right now. You can see it just because there's nothing in there, but it's enough to still bother me, so let's go over it. So it's all done in here. We'll start on this side here. So there's the line in there, which I think came out perfect. It literally sits, again, see it comes dead center of the hole there. And there's no rubber bushings or anything on this yet, just because I'm gonna take this all out. And I'm still debating if I'm gonna put a rubber bushing in there because it's another place to hold moisture. This car is never going to see rain. And I don't know, I think it looks better without it. And I might put a little bit more dirt, but you got this hole here, you got this hole here. I don't think one more small hole is gonna make a difference, just like these holes here too. So I don't think one little hole is gonna make that much of a difference. Now, if we go up on top of the car here, go up here, here's where I'm not completely happy. See how it comes down? It's not perfect. You really can't pick it up on film, but it comes out okay. I did make sure it flows with the body line. See how that dips in here? See how it kind of like dips in there? I made sure that line came down followed that and came over, and then comes up at an angle so it lines up here so the line's not bent down. Now, this is where I'm a little unsure too. I wanted to make my old ones that are crinked here, like on my car, but I wanted this to be more of a smooth transition. There, didn't turn out so well, but here I'm pretty happy with. So again, it's a hard line. There's only so much you can do with it. Again, you won't be able to see any of this. The motor will hide 99% of this. The only side you'll really be able to see is the top part of this, that line there, all that you won't be able to see. This will all be hidden. That'll be blocked by the motor. Then you'll be able to start to see about over here because the ABS isn't in there, but you'll be able to start to see it like that point there and over. So only area in there, that's it. So I am happy with everything here. Like literally this came out perfect. The way that swooped over. And I know in pictures you can't, but this actually here has plenty of room. It's not even going to come close to touching that shaft. So, and I was really happy with this. And some people were asking me, you know, why I did it that way. I think they do make a Y block so they have 2 fittings on the bottom. This is how I did it on my car, so I just repeated it. It's adding more fittings and more place of failure, to be honest. But it worked on my car and it's been like that for 5 years, so I feel pretty safe with it. And then if we come over here and finish it off, it ends up there. Again, pretty simple. This side doesn't look as good as the other side. Again, you will never be able to see this, but in my opinion, this side doesn't look as good as the other one. The other one swooped down perfectly and came in. So, but not a big deal. Now, let's go over what fittings you need and how many of them you need and where to get them from. All right, the best way to do this is to kind of go over it this way, but you're gonna need one of these. It's a -3 to -3 male, both male side fitting. You're gonna only need one. I have extra in here, so don't follow the quantities on this. This is all from Jegs, by the way. It's that Jegs number 100725. Then below that, you got a total of those 10765s. I believe you're gonna need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're gonna need 6 of those. So the Jegs 100765, 6 of those. And then you're gonna have this tree, or I'll call it a Y, whatever that I used over there. You're gonna need 1 of these. No, I'm sorry, I digress. That's actually incorrect. It's 2 of those. You're gonna need 2 of these, which is 100720. You'll need 2 of those. Now, of these are the sleeves and nuts. Now, you're gonna need the equal amount of sleeves as you are for nuts. I ordered 16. That's what I feel is the right amount. I feel like you should have 16 of those. Again, for the first part number, it's 100395, and then the other one's 100385. I believe that's it, yes. And that's all you'll need. Now, for the line itself, for the stainless steel line itself, it's 25 feet. I bought 2 25-foot rolls. And it's not necessary, as long as you do it right. I mean, look how much I still have left over. I still have plenty left over. 1 25-foot roll off Amazon, all you need. I bought 2 rolls, now I have extra, so if I ever need to do someone else's car or they pay me to do it, I have the extra line to do it. But you buy that off Amazon. Just look up 3/16 stainless steel hose. Again, this is all 3/16 line fittings and stuff. It's all stainless steel to make it really simple. I hope this video was helpful. I hope it was informational. I hope you guys can use this to make your own stainless steel brake lines or make your own brake line kit. You don't even have to use stainless steel, but you know how many fittings you need now, what to do with it. I enjoy doing it to a point. I'm glad it looks a lot better than what it does with all those other lines going all over. I think this looks a lot better. But yeah, hopefully it was helpful, guys. Let me know down in the comments below how you feel. Thank you very much, and I'll talk to you later. Peace. There goes a sight from my soul. There goes a sight,